here in Tashkent, Uzbekistan for a very exciting clash. It's Hans Niemann who takes on Jan Nepomniachtchi. And why is this clash so interesting? Well, they just played a match a few days ago in Serbia, in fact, right before this tournament, where the score was 4-4, equal score, and in the end, they did not play a tiebreak. They came to Tashkent for the UzChess Cup, and when Nepo entered in, he shook hands with everyone but not with Hans. Hans tweeted about him, and it's clear that they both are not on very friendly terms right now. The question is, will they manage to create an exciting game this round? It'll be very exciting to see. Hans Niemann arrives to the game early, he's walking around, and where is Jan Nepomniachtchi? You can see that the entire hall is empty, so Hans is the first one to arrive, and there you have it. Jan Nepomniachtchi is here. He has had an insane tournament. He's managed to lose to people, beat with it, beat Arjun, and then he lost to Madamino, Vokhidin. So he's been having a very topsy-turvy event. It will be interesting to see what happens against Hans Niemann. As Nepo comes in, he comes to the board. There's no Hans there. Will they shake hands is the big question. Because they didn't shake hands with each other during the players meeting. Nepo places his jacket on the chair, and there you see Hans walking around. Comes to the board and shakes hands with Nepo. Let's go. Sportsmanship there, and I'm actually quite excited to see how this game pans out. I'm pretty sure they'll fight until the bitter end. Also, the tournament situation will make them fight. The players are ready here. It's 90 minutes for 40 moves, then 30 minutes additional with a 30-second increment from move 1. Handshake, and Nepo opens the game with pawn to e4. Will Hans go for the Sicilian, Caro-Kann, French? No, he goes for e4, e5, a solid choice. Knight to f3. And knight c6 played. We have the Ruy Lopez with bishop to b5. And pawn to a6 played, asking a question to the bishop. The bishop drops back. It's the main line of the Ruy Lopez. And now knight comes out to f6, attacking the pawn on e4. Castles by white. And black plays the move bishop e7, the closed Ruy Lopez. Rook comes to e1, and the plan usually in the Ruy Lopez is c3, d4. b5 played. The bishop comes back to b3. It's nice to see them playing this mainline stuff. In fact, Nepo and Magnus played this in their World Championship match quite a lot, I believe. a4 played. The anti-Berlin, because if you play the move c3, by the way, d5 is the Berlin. So a4, b4 and d4 played. d6 is the main move. Take leads to an endgame, I believe, where pieces get traded all too soon, but there's something to play for. Now you will see that these two pawns are a little bit disjoint. White can push the pawn to a5, create that thing. Knights get traded in the center. Takes. He even trades the queens here, Nepo. I believe he's understood that Hans does not like endgames as much as crazy middle games. Knight to d2. And yes, the c4 square is what is in your control. So white has some trump cards to play for. Bishop to c5 played, and I'm wondering what the bishop does. By the way, knight f3, because if you go knight c4, there is a possibility to take here because of back rank mate. So knight comes to f3, attacking the e5 pawn. We have knight g4. Ooh, he doubled down on this small weakness here. Bishop e3 played. And this is all preparation by Nepo. He's at 136. Bishop takes bishop. F takes e3. How is this even fine to play is the question. I mean, it looks so even. Rook d6. Can we push the knight away with h3? No, he goes bishop d5 because h3, knight f6, knight e5, and there's bishop e6, and black is okay there. So bishop d5, c6 played by Hans. He's down to 58 minutes. Nepo at 137. Wow. Bishop b3. Hans has to be careful. He goes bishop e6. He's playing this well. He's making Nepo show all his prep. Nepo goes rook d1. And he's saying that I'm also okay with getting a second set of doubled pawns. Rook d8. And will we get like bishop e6, fe6? No, first he takes on d6. 138. How is this even happening? I can't believe it. Bishop takes e6, still in his move 21. And now you must take fe, because otherwise the rook will take the d file if you take with the rook. So fe. And now is weird pawn structure with 4 doubled pawns. If we go he goes king f1. Again in his prep. King e2 maybe he wants to go. Knight f6 attacking the e4 pawn. Can't defend it. King e2. 139. This might be the first time I'm looking at 140 happening. Knight e4 taken. And now rook d1 is the move. He's at 140. Whoa! Oh my god. Rook d1. Rook to d5 played by Hans. Rook takes d5. He takes it. Again in his prep. And Hans down to 40 minutes. What kind of play is this? This is insane. Knight e5. But this endgame, Hans has to be very careful because the king is slightly on g8 while the white king is in the center. c5 the best move. And now Nepo, king f3 is still in his preparation. Or is he bluffing? I don't know. King f8 played. Knight to c6 with the idea of getting the knight to b8, attacking the a6 pawn perhaps. King e8. Hans playing this well, carefully. Knight b8 the first time Nepo thought for 3 minutes only. King d8. Because if you play a5, then knight c6, king f4 and knight c6 later. So king d8, knight takes a6, king c8. The knight is trapped. It can't get out. But now king f4, you are coming in. Nepo is like, take my knight. I will take your pawns. Oh my goodness, king b7. Is it losing already? The number of things that are happening in this game are blowing my mind away. King e5, attacking the d5 pawn. King takes a6. And king takes d5. You have only 2 pawns for the knight right now. But the knight is hanging and the c5 pawn is also hanging. Hans goes knight f6 and now king takes c5. Whew. My goodness. Where did even Hans Niemann go wrong? Knight g4. This is a huge mistake. I mean, he was losing perhaps already h5. Perhaps, but knight g4 attacks these 2 pawns. But e4, the e pawn is a runner. And Nepo pushes the pawn. He's at 138. He's not even taking time. What is this? Nepo's playing a blitz tournament here. Knight h2, e5. Does he already understand that he's winning? I must tell you guys, I'm getting super excited here. Hans Niemann is like so shocked right now. King takes b4. It's down to 36 minutes. I mean, in some ways, it is humiliating when your opponent does not think at all. You feel like, what the hell? I mean, we are playing classical tournament. This is not blitz. And look at these 3 pawns now and the e pawn. It's clear that black is busted. h5 and Nepo finds a beautiful move. King d4, limiting the knight both ways. And now for the black king, it's like overloading. You know, these pawns will rush down. He goes king a5. But I guess this pawn can be just defended with b3. Nepo is like, sorry Hans, you don't get that pawn. Now the e pawn will run. Then the c pawn will run. Knight f6, e5. Pushes forward. Knight g8. and king to c5. He goes e6, h4, and now king to e4. Look at this, the king can go like this, knight e7, the king can go this way as well, king f4. Wow, Nepo's playing so well, he's playing so amazing. Hans' pieces just have nothing to do here. King b6, king g5, king to c6, and now just take the pawn on h4. No, a5, it's pushing the a pawn. It's pushing the a pawn. And you know what, I must say this, like, this game has been such an amazing battle between these two players, this rivalry. Okay, by the way, you can't let this pawn run away, so knight c6 or knight c8, yeah, stops the pawn. And Nepo now takes the g pawn, sorry, the h pawn. King takes e6, Hans must take the e pawn here. He takes king g5, the king is coming to g6. If you go back, I have these pawns. I mean, if we remove the g pawns, it should be a draw, I believe. 3 pawns versus knight. But with the g pawns on the board, there's nothing. King f5, the king is ready to run this way. And knight a7. We have pawn to g4. And Hans goes g6. You simply go king e5, I guess. He goes king g5 here. And resignation. Hans Niemann resigns. And Nepo immediately talks about the moves. He has 1 hour 23 minutes 51 seconds on the clock when the last move was played. Hans Niemann is so disgusted. He's like, okay, I'm leaving from here. He's not happy with the way he's played this game. Hans Niemann goes away. Jan Nepomniachtchi plays perhaps one of the most amazing endgames that I've seen. I mean, the preparation, the endgame play, everything is just flawless and top of the line. Kudos to Jan Nepomniachtchi for such an incredible game against Hans Niemann. So I just wanted to take you through the game along with the database to show you how deep Jan's preparation was. Here, takes, this has all been played, 563 games. You can see on the right that the live database on ChessBase. Bishop e3 also has been played. In fact, Nepo has played this with Ding Liren in 2019 already. So coming back now, rook d6 also has 20 games. Bishop d5 is the first new move. There's only one game between in a correspondence game between Cox and Kuhn. The main move has been rook a d1, and so here you can see that the game continued. Cox and Kuhn went this way, bishop e6, f e6. In fact, this game continued all the way till king f1, and they agreed a draw. But now actually let's load the engine. This is a strong engine. I have, let's say, some version of Stockfish. I should update it to the latest one, but okay. King e2, this is still equal, dead equal. Rook d5, great move. And king f3, king f8, best move. King e8, best move. Knight b8. And now maybe king e7 is the best way to play, and then put the king on d6. And that should be a draw, but there you are a pawn down, and somehow the knight is restricted here. The moment he played here king c8, that was the losing move. King d8, it's a little bit anti-intuitive, because you know the knight can try to come out, but it doesn't. So king d7, d6 was correct, but once he played king c8, the king came into e5, and that was the losing blunder of the game. So allowing the king here to coming with the king to d6, for example, if you play king f4, king d6, this should be equal, but going to c8 allowed this and Nepo won.
Nepo, a great win today over Hans Niemann. This was what maybe Leech's chatters would call prep bomb. I think you got completely caught up in your prep. Like, when was this preparation made, and was it like specifically for Hans today, or how was it?
This preparation, I think, was made among I don't know, dozens of other lines for the Dubai match 2021, of course. And somehow, like, I always thought this is, you know, I mean, if the person plays Marshall, probably he knows one or two ways to equalize by force. And actually, like, Rook d6 is a very precise move. So Rook d6 you have to know. So many people just play Bishop d6 and get slightly worse position. So Rook d6 is correct, and then like Bishop d5 is still pretty much a novelty. I think only one amateur game, or maybe correspondence game back then in 2014. Because okay, I checked the line today before the game. So Bishop d5, c6, Bishop b3, and then it goes down to this position, and yeah, basically Black can choose like which knight, knight taking to defend, and this one is probably the most precise way what he did. But when he had to know like the idea of putting his king to d6, I believe, because my knight on a6 is actually restricted, and I mean in lines like knight b8 check, like you know. When his king is on d6, I can't really make progress. Yeah, and he tries to improve. He can even try to rotate his own knight. But if he goes like to a direct line of king c8, I think it's very dangerous. Maybe even losing.
Yeah, that's actually the losing mistake. King c8.
King c8.
Yeah, you should go king d7, and that's the only move to hold.
King d7, and then because king c8, king f4, I think king f5. I think I'm not sure if I was playing all right, but it looked like so winning to me after king takes b4. So. I even like thought that finally, I don't have a knight to maneuver like in other big endgames. So it's basically very little space to make a mistake. So I just pushed one pawn, pushed another pawn, and I think it was enough. But I didn't really see any chances for him.
Do you think Hans just misevaluated this position, that like he has some chances to make a draw? Or?
No, I believe like this is a very straight line, and you calculate it at first, like you just immediately take the knight, you trap it, and you win it. But then I think maybe he missed king d4 from distance, but I think actually king d4 is not only on the winning move. Somehow I think that maybe b4 or something also should be winning, but king d4 I thought it's like very precise, preventing from any counterplay. I think it was more precise for him to play h5 with the idea knight f3. I saw like a similar line in my files, but I'm not sure if it works here. Probably not, but okay, who knows. But yeah, probably he was pretty much tired of like all this, trying to recollect like the lines and maybe like calculating a lot like at the boards. But yeah, for me it was pretty much just replaying my prep.
Yeah, and after the game, I think Hans was pretty upset. You probably, I think, tried to analyze with him a little bit, but he just left.
No, I mean, like, I just wanted to check him up. Like, okay, basically, like, he did well, but I know, like, he should know that he has to put a king on d6. But probably he wasn't interested.
And just one final question regarding this, Nepo. Given the match and certain things which happened before this game, does this win mean anything more than usual?
No, I don't think so. I think it's just a regular tournament game. I mean, it's better to win than to draw, and like, better to draw than to lose, of course. Just as usual. So it's good that I'm like getting back some rating. I was losing here, like in the, in the tournament, but and like very like slim theoretical chances. If I'll be successful tomorrow, maybe I can like clinch for some sharing for the first place. But I think it's too early to consider something like this.